So far, well, I've lost about 28 pounds, 17 inches all around. And just over my overall health has been um, just much easier for me to get around. And I have feet problems with my feet. So that has been a lot easier, just losing some of that weight, and just the overall mental transformation has been good. I struggled with kind of completing what I set out to do. I have always kind of struggled with my weight, and so I would start on some kind of a fad diet or get to the gym and lose some weight, and then just something would happen, whether it be my health or just maybe I couldn't afford a gym membership anymore, and then I just wouldn't finish, and then I'd go back into the old habits, and then that seemed to be kind of a vicious cycle. So getting back into that and wanting to make sure that I finish what I started has been a big accomplishment for me, and something I've really focused on. Getting on the floor, playing with my granddaughter. Sometimes, getting down, getting up, or being able to just sit there long. I didn't necessarily impact my ability to do things. I don't feel like I let that get in the way. But I did have some surgery on my foot, and that was probably more of an impact, because with the pain in my feet and then having extra weight, it was just really hard for me to walk or go long distances with walking. Stairs was always an issue. So some of those more physical things seemed to be more of an issue than really not being able to interact with my family or my granddaughter. So that was always something that was hard to do. I'd probably still be right where I was in July when I called her, just knowing that it's something that I want to do, knowing that I should be doing it, knowing that I can make the change, but just still sitting here. And quite honestly, it wasn't those factors that made me reach out to Kristen. It was really more my son's wedding. I wanted to be ready for that. I didn't want to look at pictures afterwards and just kind of feel disgusted. So that was really more of my mental thought to reach out to Kristen. And if I hadn't had that, I think I would just still be in the same spot as I was before I reached out with her, just overweight, unhappy. I took a lot of classes at the local YMCA when I first started. This was several years ago, and I was pretty successful with those classes. I enjoy that, and I stayed with that for a long time, and I had to cancel my gym membership after a couple of years, and then it's hard to carry that forward when you're at home and trying to recreate those classes. As far as diet-wise, I did Weight Watchers for several years. That was kind of a yo-yo, on again, off again. I never felt that was the right thing for me. I don't like to count all those points and calories and whatnot, but it worked. It was a quick fix. But I always fell off of that because I don't know, I don't want to be limited. But I did learn some good eating habits from there, but nothing to really carry over. So those were really probably the two biggest things. I've always liked going to the gym and yoga. Like, that's another one of my big things that I like to do. So those are probably the two most things that I've done. I guess kind of defeated is a good word. Each time I went back to the Weight Watchers, I did kind of learn a little bit that I could carry forward, but I just knew that wasn't the right program for me. And I think I just kept trying and trying and trying and trying to make it work. I wanted to make it work, but I just knew that it wasn't right for me. But it was all I knew at the moment. It was something to follow, and I think that was more what I needed, was kind of a plan to follow, or like some guidelines to follow. And that's not easy to do just on your own. So that might be why I kept going back to that. And then it just wasn't working. I felt like I wasn't able to eat freely, or I was restricted. And so then I would just stop. So I guess defeated would be my biggest word of how I felt with that. Well, the biggest thing is I just had somebody to be accountable to other than myself. And that was probably the first thing that I said to her when we started is, I'm going to be accountable to you before I will be accountable to myself. And so I was accountable to her and her time and her expertise and her effort that she put into me and the patience that she put into me. And so over the course of these 20 weeks or so, I feel I've slowly now started to be accountable to myself and still to Kristen, but not as much. So before, I only just had myself. And so if I just stopped, well, then I just stopped. That was not letting anybody else down or wasting anybody's time. This way, if I'm accountable to her and I'm accountable to myself, we're kind of doing it together. And if I slip a little bit or take a step backwards, she's there to just guide me back into that again and remind me of, what I need to do to get back. I was very excited. Like I had a goal in mind, kind of like I said, and it wasn't necessarily a goal for anything. And this is going to sound crazy, but the conversation with Kristen went like this. Hi, this is Natalie. I've been watching your progress with my friend. My son's wedding is coming up in 365 days from today, and I want buff arms for the wedding. And that was kind of where it went. And some days I curse myself for telling her I want buff arms when she works me pretty hard, but it is what it is, and that's how it all got started, and that's still kind of the end result. But in between all of that of trying to get these buff arms for this wedding, I've just dwindled away, I guess you could say, and have really just enjoyed my time with her. And I feel amazing when I leave the gym. When I have to miss a session, I just don't feel the same. Like Kristen she's such a supporter, and it's like in her own way. She's not that cheerleader that's like, you can do it. But every week when we have our coaching call, it starts out with, tell me about your week. And I know that I can tell her I either had a good week, a bad week. I rambled on and on and on about how I'm feeling overwhelmed with the holidays and trying to get this. And she just listened. And that was all that I needed. And then she said, okay, so now what are we going to do? But she's really just supported me in a way that I didn't realize I didn't have, which was, it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to be anxious. It's okay to maybe not have a plan for the day, but she's there and she'll support you however that is. And so I've always felt very supported with her, even when I didn't want to be social worked and change some of those behaviors. I was willing to change my nutrition and my exercise, but maybe some of those behaviors and mindsets I was not willing to change so quickly. But she stuck with me, and that really helped a lot, showing me that she's not going to go anywhere, and that she can be my mentor, and she can be my supporter, and she can be that listening ear because she gets it. Other than the obvious of, weight loss and whatnot, I started this running app in 2014. And it's like a couch to 5K type thing. I started it because I was going to start coaching girls on the run, and I thought I probably should be able to run if I'm going to coach. And over the years, kind of like everything else with my health, I'd started and then I'd never finish, and then I'd start all over and then I never finish. And it's an 8-week program. So when I started my second 12-week transformation with her, She wanted me to just set an overall goal for the 12 weeks. It could be anything that I wanted. And so my overall goal was to start that Couch to 5K app again, stay on track. It's 3 days a week running and finish it. I did. I did it. It made me feel good. And I was strong, and I did it for me. I didn't really do it for Kristen. But I wouldn't have been able to finish it had I not started with Kristen, because mentally I was more prepared. Physically, I was more prepared to finish that and to do it. And so on that day when I finished it at the gym, she was the very first person that I texted, because I just needed her to know that I finished that because of her, and it felt good. That's what I accomplished out of 22 weeks. It's just everything. It's just given me that confidence of knowing that if something comes up and I can't finish something right there, that's okay, because I can get back into it, and I can do that. And I'm out of the mindset of, well, guess that's not going to happen now. So just the confidence that I can finish something, I can make good food choices, I can do things with my family. I can't wait to go on vacation and do those stairs with our friends. And I don't even know how else to explain it. Just the overall satisfaction and the confidence that I have that I now can do something and make little goals and track things on my fridge if I have to be able to stay on task, and that I can just do it.